Sharon can be brought to book. I want to call upon our politicians and even the media to avoid medieval punishments and proclamations, so that our agencies that are charged with investigations are given time to do their job. I also want to take this time to thank the people of Migori, my supporters and the general electorate, and also the well-wishers who have been with me in prayers, that they should continue praying for me in all this endeavor. As a law-abiding citizen, I want to state here very, very clearly and very categorically that I have nothing and absolutely nothing to do with the cruel death of Sharon. And I want to urge all our government agencies, all the agencies that are mandated with investigations, to speed up their work so that the real killers can be brought to book as fast as possible. Last but not least, let me take this opportunity to thank you, members of the Fourth Estate, for taking your time to come for this brief. Asanteni sana.
Just one tour. Your
Excellency,
yes,
very important, sir. Just allow me to introduce my family. They are not all, but I have one of my daughters here. I also have one of my sons, and I also have my wife here. I'm also accompanied by my staff, yeah, like my political advisor and also my chief of staff. And given that the matter is still under investigation, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it is fair for you to fill a lot of questions.
No, on the same, on what you've said, sir.
Just like yesterday when you appeared before the police, specifically, why do they have interest in you? Did you know this guy? Did you have any personal relation with this guy? Did you know?
And even you, members of the press, you know very well. That is why I talked about the medieval punishments. You know very well that for you, if it is not some big character, then it is not news. And that is why maybe there's that tendency of shifting so that you get the juicier part of it.
And why has this
otherwise,
so long? Why has this taken you so long to come out and speak about this issue?
No, it has not taken me so long to come and speak about it. It has not taken me so long.
I
think the best thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to allow us, give room to those other agencies to perform their duty. Asanteni sana.
Good afternoon. As you have witnessed, that was news just in with the formal responses and given by the man himself who was at the center, one of the main people of interest, persons of interest in this case, and that is the Sharon Otieno murder. And that is Migori Governor Okoth Obado giving his response. This coming right after, of course, he has been with the authorities giving answers in response to what could have been his role in this. But from what he said earlier, and we'll be able to play it in a moment, he says he has nothing to do with the brutal murder of Sharon Otieno, even as investigations continue. A bit cagey there to give responses to the members of the press who wanted to get a few more details and have him expound on what has been going on. But even as this comes to the fore, that is his official response to all this, because he has been silent and underground, so to speak. It's only yesterday when he presented himself to the DCI officers in Kisumu and questioned for about 6 to 8 hours, grilled over the possible role he played in the murder of Sharon Otieno, because in the sequence of events, at least as has been given by people close to this case, one of them being Barack Odor, the Nation journalist, is that he was in communication with Sharon Otieno and Barack Odor on the very fateful night of her murder. And so that's one of the leads that investigators are following in terms of what exactly was communicated in the phone calls between Okoth Obado, the Migori governor, and the two people who were involved in that incident, one of them ending up dead, that is Sharon Otieno, who was 7 months pregnant. And this happening just as the personal assistant of Okoth Obado, that is Michael Oyamo, remaining in custody. At least court has ruled that he should remain in custody for 14 days. And this was challenged earlier. He was released yesterday from Homa Bay Court and soon after rearrested and now brought to Nairobi. And the reasons given were that it was quite volatile, this case, and very sensitive, and would have been a threat to his life remaining in that vicinity. And that is why he was brought to Nairobi to face charges. And yes, 14 days he will remain in custody as investigators continue getting more details out of what could have happened. As you probably well know, there's DNA samples have already been taken. The defense team of Oyamo has questioned this particular one, and that actually is, speaking of defense team, that is Cliff Ombeta, one of the lawyers representing the Migori governor, Okoth Obado, and he has said, at least the few details he's given, is that Okoth Obado presented himself. He wasn't arrested, in the sense just trying to counter claims that the governor had been arrested yesterday, but he says he presented himself to the authorities for questioning and was handled well while in the custody of the police. And now that it is, the events leading to him being in Nairobi, and yes, just giving us a picture of them being in control of what's happening in terms of not quite worried and not saying that they have or just actually clearing themselves of any culpability of the case that is ongoing and being investigated, has been in the public for a little over a week, and definitely getting a lot of pressure from leaders and Kenyans to get to the bottom of this and deliver justice for Sharon Otieno and her family. So yes, earlier on, the picture is going a bit shaky right now, but earlier on that was Okoth Obado giving his statement and his position and saying that he has no parts to play or did not have any parts to play in the death of Sharon Otieno. We'll be getting more details to this and hopefully be able to just replay that. It was quite abrupt giving their positions. As you would expect, you wouldn't want any further grilling from the press in terms of what they would say. So it was quite a controlled press briefing there in terms of the information that they would be putting out. But as can be seen, he is a free man. He's not being held in custody as opposed to what the case for his personal assistant, Michael Oyamo. And perhaps we'll be getting more details to this. I was hoping we could replay that briefing by Okoth Obado, but I'm told it's not ready. But yes, just clearing the air that he's not responsible, and perhaps just, making it clear that everything is in control from his end. But investigations continue. Details are with the authorities, that is with the DCI here as well, the DCI office and headquarters here in Nairobi, because he had also been presented before the investigators here in Nairobi after being transported overnight from yesterday's grilling of about 6 to 8 hours. But we'll get more details to this, and the developments to this story will be on top of that. I'll be back at 4 with more.